NBC 10 at Issue starts now.
1 out of every 68 children in the U.S. has some form of autism. That's the latest government estimate, and it's a big jump from just a couple of years ago. Now some support groups say we're facing an autism tsunami due to the huge number of children with autism becoming adults over the next few years. Today, we'll discuss what the future holds for them.
They're just as smarter than other people in the workforce.
Are we making a place in society for adults with autism? And what will it cost if we don't?
And good morning, I'm Jim Rosenfield. Welcome to NBC 10 at Issue. New estimates of the number of children diagnosed with autism, they're really startling, but many experts say what's more unsettling is the lack of support for children with the communication disorder as they grow up. Autism typically impairs social interaction. Even so, thousands of adults with autism who live in our area have a real desire to work. NBC's Harry Smith has one father's solution for getting his son a job.
Word is spreading around Parkland, Florida, that they do a really nice job at the Rising Tide Car Wash. Thorough, attention to detail, and polite.
Nice to meet you, Harry.
When he dreamed up this place, most everyone told John Derry he was nuts.
It's really just blind commitment.
John's crazy idea? Build a business with the primary mission of employing people with autism. He's got 35 guys working here who fall somewhere on the autism spectrum. Day to day, the job doesn't change all that much. And for many on the autism spectrum, like Vilon, Matt, and John's son Andrew, that's kind of perfect.
What's the best part of it?
Right, doing tire shines on the customer's car.
Going through a car wash 2 years ago, John thought Andrew could do this.
Busy for a Monday?
An answer, perhaps, to the question every parent with a child with special needs worries about. What happens when they grow up?
Yeah. What does this give your son?
This gives him a life.
Including Andrew's brother, Tom, who chose not to work on Wall Street in order to help start this family business.
I work alongside him every day.
With tips and not a penny in government subsidies, the men here average about $11 an hour. And while a few have quit, John hasn't fired anyone.
We're setting people up for success, not for failure. I don't want to throw a lifeline and have to pull it back.
Dignity, independence, a paycheck. Frankly, it's what every parent dreams of for their child. Harry Smith, NBC News, Parkland, Florida.
The economic cost of autism is steep. New research finds the annual cost of autism in this country is $126 billion. That number has tripled in less than a decade. The lifetime cost of providing care for someone with the condition can run as high as $2.3 million. Adults on the autism spectrum strive to live as independently as possible, but a lot of them say it's difficult finding information about programs to support them. With me now is Dr. Michelle Rowe. She's the executive director of the Kinney Center for Autism Education and Support, and Kim Lacoste. And Kim has a child who has autism. Welcome to both of you, and thank you for being here on At Issue.
Thank you, Jim.
Dr. Rowe, let's start with you to help people understand what it means when we say someone is on the autism spectrum.
Well, if you think about it from the perspective of an umbrella, there's 3 different diagnostic categories historically, and one is autism, another is Asperger's, and then in the middle is this category called pervasive developmental disorder, not otherwise specified. The recent addition of looking at those diagnostic criteria, it's actually been collapsed into one category, which is autism spectrum disorder. So in this case, you have people on the high end of the autism spectrum, meaning high functioning, and individuals at the lower end who often have intellectual disability as well, and then lots in between. But they're all different. The same diagnosis does not make them same in terms of characteristics.
Talk to me about how it manifests itself. What might we see in someone with autism or somewhere on that spectrum?
Well, generally when the children are younger, the parents will notice that they are not making eye contact, not responding to joyful sorts of things, exchanges, happy birthday, those things. And then eventually they start to see those symptoms, and that leads to a diagnosis. As adults, so the children, when they're younger, they're very quirky and cute, and we're very understanding and tolerant of those behaviors. But as they age and they become adults, that's where those quirky quirky behaviors are no longer cute. They're adults, and they should be conforming to the social expectations that we have, and they can't as well. So we need to be patient with those individuals.
And why is it that we seem to be seeing these numbers so sharply on the rise? Is it a question of better diagnosis, or are there more and more people who have this disorder?
That's the million-dollar question. Generally, we are doing a better job of tracking it. That's clear. The school districts do it. The medical community does it. However, even the CDC says that it can't be ruled out that there aren't other things going on.
Such as?
Environmental. You know, there are certainly higher rates of cancer in the world now, lots of other types of diseases, Alzheimer's. It could be in that category, but again, that's up for grabs in terms of what we know.
And Kim, tell us about your son. He's what, 13 years
Correct.
old?
13 years old.
And what has been your experience like?
Well, Samuel was diagnosed when he was 2.5, but motherly instinct, I knew at birth. Doctors would be like, you're just an overprotective new mom. But there was something in me that said, he's not making the giggling, and he's not cooing, and some sensory issues. He had sensory needs. So I just knew that we needed to get them addressed, and at a very early age, we did that. And we found that to be, in our opinion, the best thing that we could do. We didn't ignore it. We wanted to see what we could do and provide for him.
And what are some of your concerns about moving forward as he moves into adulthood?
Sure. I mean, it's always about any question you ask any typical child. What do you want to be when you grow up? You know, hoping and making sure that he has those resources and supports to live out his full dreams of wanting to live independently, wanting to attend college. And if you ask him, he wants to be a professional, you know, hockey player.
All right.
You know, helping him to make realistic goals for long term.
Maybe he'll be on the Flyers, who knows?
I hope.
What are some of the roadblocks you see in society in terms of the way your son is treated?
I would say it's the children and the students that he interacts with on a daily basis. It's just been amazing. The children are very respectful. I think where we find the most struggle would be with adults. They just, for a lack of a better word, can sometimes be very ignorant. And, you know, through education and Samuel being his best advocate, that's really what we've been trying to do as parents, provide him with supports, but also making him be a voice and being able to express his needs and how he is different, but that doesn't make him less. And really vocalizing that. That's where I see the only thing that we need to still work with society.
And Dr. Rowe, where do you see big gaps in terms of support as these people move into adulthood?
There's a serious problem with adult services because what happens is when the children turn 21, they age out of the school district, and there's no formal system in place for how to accommodate them. What they need is social skills, they need life skills, things like learning how to fold laundry and cook dinner are really important. And then, of course, job coaching is a big one. And just to kind of feed on one of the things that you said, there's a theory in psychological theory called attribution theory. And what it means is we tend to judge others based on their individual, those internal perspectives. And when we judge ourselves, it's often related to circumstances that happen. So when we look at kids with autism, we assume that there's something wrong with them rather than looking at the circumstances. So we attribute the issues that they have to them rather than to the disease or the disorder.
They have a lot of potential to succeed in life. Thank you both for being with us, Dr. Michelle Rowe and Kim Lacoste. Really appreciate your insights here on At Issue today.
Thank you.
Next, we're going to talk with St. Joe's University student Bobby Strauss with his friend and advisor, Patrick Graham. The pair, part of a program that helps students on the autism scale succeed in college. We'll be right back.
This is NBC 10 At Issue. This is NBC 10 At Issue.
And welcome back. I'm Jim Rosenfield. More now on our discussion of children with autism moving into adulthood. NBC 10's Renee Chenault-Fatah takes us inside one of the Kinney Center's programs at St. Joe's University that helps students with the condition succeed in college.
They're thriving.
Thriving in college, according to Dr. Michelle Rowe, head of the Kinney Center for Autism at St. Joe's University. Students who in the past may not have thought college was an option because they have autism.
It's unfortunate that we've had so many stereotypes along with this that have told parents not to help these children move forward.
If high schoolers have the academic ability to get accepted, the school helps them with communication issues, which are common to the condition.
So difficulty asking questions or being comfortable going up and talking with the professor if there's issues, talking with other students, understanding the social nuances, the nonverbal behaviors. We actually help them learn how to have conversations and have friends, be able to go through transitioning from one activity to the next, which is often difficult for someone with autism.
Students can choose to live in the dorms and are assigned to a typical student who is available for social support. They are taught life skills like how to use the dormitory laundry and kitchens. They also regularly meet one-on-one with a social worker.
And with me now are two students from St. Joe's University who take part in the program. Bobby Strauss is a rising sophomore who is on the autism spectrum, and Patrick Graham, a rising senior who is Bobby's peer mentor. Thanks, guys, for being here. We really appreciate it. First of all, Bobby, tell me how Patrick helps you out while you're in school.
Well, Patrick helps me socialize. He helps me get started. He helped me get started this summer. And ever since, it's been a great friendship. You know, we go out to eat. He brings friends. I get to choose the place.
And so you guys hang out together?
Yes.
As well as try to sort of get through school and all that comes with that together?
Of course.
And Patrick, why did you want to get involved in this program?
Early on in high school, I started working with the special needs community back home where I'm from. And when I came to St. Joe's, I really wanted to find something that fell in line with what I like to do. And the Kinney Center was really transformative in the way that I saw autism and has really changed my life in a very positive way. And especially with the Aspire program, I would never want anyone to think that this is something I had to do, that I felt I needed to do. It's something that I wanted to do, and from this has come just a great relationship and a great friendship.
I wanted to ask you what's come out of it for you. What do you get out of it in terms of taking part?
It's not really what I get out of it. It's really what I take, and I don't say that in a selfish way. I get so much from Bobby and what he's overcome and what he's faced already in his life, and I just really look up to him, and he helps me out a lot more than I think a lot of people would assume I help him.
That's awesome that you help him out. How does he help you out? What would college be like, do you think, if you didn't have Patrick around to sort of be there as a friend?
Stale.
That's a great word. That's a great way to put it.
He inspires me, too. He's a great guy, and he's always friendly, so I kind of aspire to be that all the time.
And what are your hopes and dreams? Do you have a career in mind? Have you thought about that yet?
Yes. I want to be a history teacher and teach people with my disability and even regular people not on the spectrum. I want to serve as everyone's inspiration in my class. I want to be a great teacher.
Sounds like you will be an awesome teacher. So you got a couple of years to go in school. Is that going well? Is it hard for you to sort of, do you find moments when it's hard to focus on the work and not have too much fun hanging out?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Like any college kid?
Oh, yeah.
But Patrick helps keep you in line a little bit?
Tries.
Okay. Patrick, has there ever been any sort of point at which something surprised you about taking part in this program?
I think the biggest thing I take away is that you're not going to see this at a lot of other colleges, and St. Joe's and the Kinney Center offers this experience to these students to give them the best experience they can have, and I take that away as something that may come as a challenge for other students on the spectrum. This program really aids them along and gives them a college experience that they're going to remember for the rest of their lives.
So you guys are a couple years apart in school, right? So you'll be graduating and you'll still be there. So what happens at that point?
We're still going to keep in touch. I give credit to the Aspire program about meeting us, but I'm going to take on the responsibility, and I think so will Bobby, of maintaining this relationship, of this awesome friendship, and I look forward to a long relationship with Bobby.
So. Oh, yeah, of course.
And Bobby, is there anything you want people to understand or know about your life experience and dealing with autism that maybe they don't understand?
Yeah, of course.
Or need to know more about?
Well, we need people everywhere to understand that we need more respect and less, because throughout my life, people have just been, for lack of a better term, as said before, ignorant. They don't know. It's been a hard struggle, and it's hard to convey feelings from time to time, and even all the time.
Well, it sounds like you're doing so well because you're expressing yourself, you're telling us what your needs are, and you've also gained a friend here for life. You guys plan to remain close once you move on, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
All right, Bobby Strauss, Patrick Graham, we thank you so much for sharing your insights and your experiences at St. Joe's and in the program Aspire.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Next, we're going to learn about a local firm's push to match workers with autism to jobs.
This is NBC 10 at Issue.